You got no legs, Lieutenant Wentz. This is Fantasy Football Friendly. Let's go.
Holy shit.
What up, Pirates? If you have not already, Pirates and Pirates, if you have not already, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already. After you've done that, go ahead and spike the like. Let the YouTube algorithm know what's good. Let them know that you're enjoying the content. Let's go. We're on our way to 3K subs. We're on our way to that 3,000. So make sure you guys are sharing the content with all of your friends, your family, your cousin Ray, the homie down at the barbershop. Everybody needs to be getting in on this fantasy football content. We are talking about the Indianapolis Colts today here on Fantasy Friendly. But first things first, you already know what's good. We got to pay some bills. Promo code RUMBOYS over on monkeyknifefight.com and also the Monkey Knife Fight app. You could get the Monkey Knife Fight app on both iOS simply by searching Monkey Knife Fight. We have tons of legal daily fantasy prop action over there for you guys. So make sure that you get on over there, check it out. Let me make sure, I show you guys really quick just so that y'all familiar with the vibes. Make sure you guys get on over there, monkeyknifefight.com. Giants, Diamondbacks going down. Y'all already know. We also got Eagle Eye popping off. Get in on that Monkey Knife Fight daily fantasy prop action. I got to reload my account. Also, I want to remind you guys about the SportsMe app. 1 second. Make sure that you guys get on over to the SportsMe app. Look for the little trophy that looks like this. Right there. Make sure you guys look for the little trophy that looks like that. The SportsMe app, we got a ton of athletes over there making content, a ton of different analysts from different networks, Run Boys Fans Network, ESPN, and so much more. You can debate with the homie Ryan Hollins, Vinny Del Negro, David Ochifu, Kevin Jaspin, so many more. Real drama, real athletes and fans from your favorite sports. Join our conversations, the hottest commentary on demand. Also, you guys can get over there, ask me your fantasy football questions. I am going to be starting Sunday mornings, answering all of your sports lines, all of your fantasy football questions, and things of that nature on the SportsMe app in real time. You can get on over there, grab your phone, make a video, let me know, hey, yo, Robbie, are we starting Joe Mixon today? What's good? Johnathan Taylor, hey, Robbie, is Johnathan Taylor going to be healthy today? Yada, yada, yada. I'll get on over on the app. I'll answer your questions. I'll reward your points, some takes. And also, who knows, you may even get hooked up with some great, amazing giveaways as well. Like the homie Monaco's over there helping you out with betting advice. Moneyline Monaco, baby. Volume Sports. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Run Boys and girls. What it do, dilly dilly. So we got some news out of Colts camp. We got some news. You have no damn legs, Carson Wentz, Lieutenant Wentz. You want some ice cream? Apparently, this is an injury stemming back to high school. Back to high school. How many times have you been operating on? Now, I get that things can be overlooked and, this has happened before with athletes. But come on, like if you're Carson Wentz, like all the years, college at NDSU with the Eagles, maybe it's no wonder that he hasn't been able to remain healthy. And then if you're the Eagles, all right, fantasy football aside, if you're an Eagles fan, it's like you were gunning for Wentz to do good, like to do decent, and that's like, oh shit, like fuck, like he's not going to play the full allotment of games in the contract. we're going to get a second round pick. So Eagles fans are definitely pissed. Super Bowl aside, and it wasn't even Wentz that it was that won it. It was Foles who finished out the season and got him there and won it. But that team did a lot of the work. So the more and more that this shit starts to happening with Wentz, the more and more I'm like, life is just super unfair to this guy, and I feel bad for him. Hopefully, they're saying it could be anywhere between 5 to 12 weeks. Hopefully, we're looking more like 5-ish, and he has some crazy, immaculate, speedy recovery, and he's back out there on the field. I mean, otherwise, you're dealing with 2020 draft pick, 4th-round draft pick, Jacob Eason, or 6th-round draft pick out of the Longhorns, fucking Sam Ehlinger. I mean, and don't even begin to ask me who I'm higher on. Okay, like that within itself is just a tough question. I feel like Ehlinger moves great on his legs. I feel like Eason, he had some ups and downs, from Georgia going to Washington, but I feel like Eason could definitely be a guy. I feel like he can be a guy. Maybe he has a little bit of that stench of Rivers, hanging around Rivers, and then a little bit that he's gotten to be around Carson. I mean, if I had to pick right now, maybe that's the guy that I'm going with, just because it's like, okay, well, you've been around the facility a little bit more. You've been around the locker room a little bit more. The guys know you, hopefully over the last, year, 2 years, you've developed enough rapport, you got to have a chip on your shoulders. The moxie has definitely got to be there. I mean, Eason can definitely fucking fling it. I mean, I love his Washington tape. I love his Washington tape. But I don't know how well either of these guys are going to transition into the NFL. Maybe they can, especially with this defense, either one of these quarterbacks will be good enough to string together, 3 out of 5 wins. I think that Eason could be the guy, but I also could be wrong. The only way that we're going to find out is by watching preseason games, and that's freaking 3 days away from now. With the Hall of Fame game starting off, and then we're just from there on, no more Sundays without football. So preseason will tell, time will tell. We're not drafting either one of these guys. So from the quarterback position, this team is not fantasy football friendly. They already weren't fantasy football friendly, and already wasn't going to be high on the quarterback position. What my take would have been with Carson Wentz healthy would have been, it's an injury away from possibly falling apart, and we're already seeing that shit. So that's part of the NFL. That's part of football. That's part of fantasy football. With that being said, with the quarterback position not being fantasy friendly at all, period, that was junk. I mean, you were looking at a QB2 at best if Wentz was healthy. We now get into one Johnathan Taylor. Okay. So this one is interesting because with JT, it's either you're high on him or you're not, right? It's either he's a guy for you or he's not. Okay. I have not had enough JT exposure to, you can cry me a river over this all you want. Get it? I haven't had enough JT exposure to be a Johnathan Taylor truther. When that whole Taylor Swift hype started going, at first I thought I was going to be on the Taylor train, but then I got, a lot of Swift exposure because of the way drafts fell. And then I just, I guess more so kind of switched my tune. 216.8 fantasy points, 1,169 yards on 232 rushes. I don't mind JT being I don't mind him being an RB1. I think where people worry is Marlon Mack and Nyheim Hines are in that backfield. And when you have Marlon Mack and Nyheim Hines in that backfield, they're gonna get theirs. They're gonna get their touches, and you have to worry about that in a Frank Wright system where all the running backs are gonna get theirs. You know, I mean, he got a big chunk, against Jacksonville last game. Taylor got a big chunk against Jacksonville last game of the season, against the Raiders. Week 2, against Minnesota. So I mean, those are his 300-yard games. So it's not like he's like constantly always breaking out. It's not like he was held to 59 yards against the goddamn Jets. Like against the fucking Jets, he was held to 57 against Cleveland. Just 7 or just 12 yards against Tennessee. The only 10 that I see. So I mean, yeah, just 12 yards against Tennessee, and that's not a good defense. So I think when it comes to the week-to-week play with Johnathan Taylor is where the case and the argument gets made against him, is because he's not always going to see 50% of the snaps, 50+% of the snaps. Most of the time he will. For the most part, he usually will. But it's also you don't know when it is that he's not. So when he's not, it's like, that shit's detrimental. If you take away, I mean, you can't really do this. So I hate when fantasy analysts do this. But if you were to take away, some of his bigger yardage games, some of his games of 80 and above yards, you're kind of left with like, oh shit, bro. So I think that's where people can make a case against Johnathan Taylor, is that he really didn't start picking up steam until about after Tennessee pretty much put his ass, in a fucking box and didn't let him go anywhere. You know what I mean? You got to expect that. Like you're gonna see that team, like twice a year. Like that team is gonna game plan. They're gonna be ready for you. So I mean, Johnathan Taylor, fantasy friendly or not? Like, am I personally spending the first round pick on him, knowing that I only have a 33.3% chance of my first round pick hitting in the first place, especially as a running back? I might lean elsewhere. I might go, towards something that I might be a little bit more familiar with. And with where Johnathan Taylor is going, about 1.7 between 112, you can kind of do that. Next is Michael Pittman. He had 58.9 fantasy points last year, on 1 TD, 503 yards. And kind of the same story with him. It was, once he had came back and kind of got into his own, we started seeing flashes and we started seeing the upside. We don't know if he's going to be the one yet. A lot of people want him to be the one. Most dynasty fantasy football players, but in redraft, you could get Pittman late. Just let Pittman fall. And if he falls to you, from 12th round on, cool. T.Y. Hilton, 108.2 fantasy points. It's not even a fucking wide receiver 3. That pretty much is a wide receiver 3. This man, his hamstrings have fallen from grace so damn hard. We're not drafting T.Y. Hilton. And if we do, we're drafting him like towards the end of in the end of drafts. And then same with Mo Alley Cox. He put up 49.4 fantasy points. I mean, and Jack Doyle could potentially be back. We don't know what the fuck has happened with that. With this team not having a quarterback, this passing attack doesn't come off very fantasy friendly. It's all a lot of late round picks and a lot of sleepers. Mo Alley Cox could start, emerging and coming into his own and maybe have a breakout in year 4. He definitely plays a position like a basketball player, like a power forward, jumps out the gym. Uh, hey, fellow Virginia boy, but I don't know. Like, it's when we talk about it all goes back to the quarterback position, and you cannot be fantasy football friendly when you're dealing with shit at the quarterback position because you can't even be real NFL friendly. I don't know how well this team is going to do now. Like, everything is going to be predicated on Darius Leonard in the defense. And how far is that going to take you? Like, you're like, what Washington, coming from a Washington football team, like a Washington football team fan. Wow, couldn't even say that right. We need to get a name. That was completely preposterous for what we did. Like, to go through a quarterback carousel like that and to still get into the playoffs and to still also like be all right looking in your one playoff game against the greatest of all time. Like, that shit's luck. Like it's just the right pieces falling into place. And I don't even know. I don't like Indy's gonna have a tough time. Indy is going to have a tough time this year. That division, it's all yours. The only 10 I see, it's all Tennessee. So like you gotta do this. And for all of the Colts fans out there, I'm sorry. I wish you guys the best. Hopefully, when Carson Wentz comes back, y'all can just go on a complete and total tear. But I feel like this team has a lot of question marks outside of Michael Pittman, who has the most upside for all the pass catchers, and Johnathan Taylor. Seems not fantasy friendly. In terms of fantasy friendly, I'd give this team a D, because they have a defense. And that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been fantasy football friendly Indianapolis Colts edition. We made this one short, simple, sweet, because that may be how this team season could go in real life. And that's how it's going to go whenever you're looking at these guys off the board. Short, simple, sweet thought processes. Because outside of JT and Michael Pittman, probably ain't fucking with them. Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Rub Boys and Girls. What it do? Dilly dilly. I'll catch y'all at draft night out. Canton in 2 weeks. Baby, baby.